Magnetism, the law of universal attraction. What power is it that causes some men to attract $1 million fortune, while others remain poor and in want all their lives? If you once could discover the answer to that question, you would know the secret in back of making a fortune. I believe that I have discovered just such an answer, and it is a big part of our $1 million secret that lies within your mind. The great and universal law of magnetism is the secret power that is back of all life. Science now believes that magnetism and electricity are an indivisible unit, that they produce all living intelligence and motivate all life. This power of magnetism is the energy, the life force that exists between all atoms and gives them their cohesive unity. Take the planets spinning in space, for instance. They are held in their orbits by gravity, which is another name for magnetism. When Newton discovered the law of gravity, he laid the foundation for our modern jet planes and spaceships. Magnetism, too, is a reality. How magnetism gives you power to attract. Magnetism can be physical and material, as between objects and things. It can also be mental. The mind that sets up a magnetic attraction to the things that it pictures and concentrates on has the power to attract those things to itself. This accounts for the tremendous magnetic attraction that misers have for money. They concentrate on nothing but getting and hoarding money. This becomes their obsession. Day and night they think of money. Their minds become just like magnets. They live and think and breathe money. They deny themselves everything so they may save more money. They gradually build a fortune, but it does them no good, for they have used this magnetic law negatively. Just think, if you learn how to use this magnetic law in a positive manner, what amazing things you could do with it. How does magnetism work to attract to you the things you want? Take an example in physics. A piece of iron is wrapped with copper wire, and electric current is passed through it. The bar of iron becomes a magnet and can attract to itself any metal that has the same molecular structure or vibration as itself. You have seen enormous cranes with a big magnetic ball attached, picking up tons of scrap metal. This is the principle of the magnet. Now visualize your mind riled with magnetic thoughts of success, money, friendship, love, health, happiness, things you want to own. The mind becomes literally magnetized by these thoughts, and the electric current flows from the brain to the nerves and muscles of your body. The sympathetic nervous system, which is a part of the automatic nervous system, reacts automatically. It follows the instructions of your conscious and subconscious mind implicitly. The instructions go out, as by a wireless message. Bring me more money. Make me a success. Give me great ideas. Lead me to people who can make me successful and help me. Find the hidden gold mine or oil field. Give me great gifts and talents. As you magnetize your mind more and more with these or similar thoughts, you gradually become a magnet, mentally and physically, able to attract to yourself the conditions and things you have put into your mind. The secret of mental imagery. When you picture something as coming true for you, the very act of picturing or mental imagery sets into motion the forces that will attract it to you. I know a man who was in the South Pacific, and he cut a picture of Ruth Hussey, the movie actress, out of a magazine. She represented his ideal for love and marriage. He carried that photo with him, looked at it at night before going to bed, mentally imaged himself married to her. Months later, he was at a big party in San Francisco, and he looked up and saw a girl dressed in white walking towards him, as though magnetized by him. He recognized her instantly. The girl of my dreams, he thought, with a thrill of excitement. They gravitated towards each other, drawn by the law of magnetism. They fell in love with each other and were married. Who knows what strange powers man may tap when he enters this fourth-dimensional world of the mind and soul? Dr. Ryan of Duke University has done research on these strange subjects, like extrasensory perception, and he believes that science is on the verge of breaking through new frontiers of power in the discovery of a whole new world of mind and spirit. Einstein, at the time of his death, was working on a cosmic theory which would explain many of the things that are in the realm of the mind and which often baffle people. The secret of mental imagery consists in picturing the persons, conditions, money, success, objects, whatever it is that you want for your very own, and picturing them so strongly that they begin to live for you in the realm of mind. The Bible speaks of this law of imagery in these words: "Let us make man in our image." This image can only be held in one place, in the mind, specifically in man's imagination. The very beginning of the act of creation is this ability to picture or image the things you want in your life. The secret of all creation is locked up in the genes of the human body. This is its image. Children follow this pattern universally. The image is there in the life germ or cell that begins all life. 2 arms and legs, hair and eyes, and a nose and mouth. The picture pattern for the formation of the involved kidneys, lungs, heart, nerves, and muscles. Even the coloration of the hair and eyes. What a miracle of creative genius that all these things should be contained in a cell so microscopically tiny that only the electronic microscope recently revealed nature's hidden secret for creating life. What is the pattern in your mind? The pattern you hold in your mind is analogous to this secret of the body's genes. In that invisible pattern of your brain, there are electrical and magnetic forces that have power to radiate through your body, motivating you to create the destiny pictured in your mind. This mental pattern works, for you can put into it persons you want to meet, things you want to do, money you wish to attract, things you wish to own, and by some strange law of mental magnetism, which we know exists, although science does not yet know why it works, you may attract into your orbit of experience the things you image perfectly. I remember 2 graphic examples of how I used mental imagery before I even knew about these mental laws of magnetism. I had always admired Mary Pickford in my early days. I suppose, like millions of others, I fell in love with America's sweetheart, as she was known then. I dreamed of one day meeting her. I pictured this so strongly that it seemed to me I had already met her. One day I was at a photographer's shop in Hollywood, where pictures had just been taken to illustrate a story I had written, when suddenly, framed in the doorway, stood Mary Pickford. The golden curls, the blue costume she wore for coquette, the way I had visualized her in my dreams. We met, and through Miss Pickford, I was introduced to Hollywood, where my real career began. Thoughts have repercussions. I had also pictured one day meeting William Randolph Hearst, and visualized that he would help me further my writing career. This thought was so magnetized that one night at a big party at Pickfair, Miss Pickford introduced me to the noted publisher. As in a dream, I talked to this great man for nearly an hour. Later, he gave me the front pages of the American Weekly for a series of articles and illustrations, advertising a new book I had written, which sold thousands of copies. The front page of the American Weekly had never before been given to an individual, and Mr. Hearst did not give me 1 week's cover, but 4. How can one doubt the magnetic power of mental imagery in the face of such evidence? This is only one illustration from my life. I have had literally hundreds of such miracles in my lifetime, and I can testify to thousands in the lives of my students over the years. Another illustration to show the magnetic power of thought. 2 members of our lecture group visualized winning the Irish sweepstakes, one on the West Coast, the other in New York. In both cases, these ladies won over $100,000. Why doesn't everyone win the Irish sweepstakes who visualizes himself winning? This is one of the mysteries of magnetism. Some people use it more powerfully than others, or some people have no other way to magnetize money, and they become almost desperate in their desires, attracting it through such means. Others magnetize a fortune through going into business, inventing something, or writing a great novel. The power works differently for different people. $25,000 magnetized through a song. Another instance of how this law of magnetism worked for a member of our lecture group was that of a young man named Ted Mossman, who played the piano at some of our lectures in New York City, and who worked part-time in a health food store. When he learned of this great law of magnetic attraction, he began to visualize himself making a fortune through writing songs. A year later, he came to me with a check for his royalties for $25,000. The song was "Till the End of Time." Through that song, Ted went to Hollywood under contract to a big studio, and his success was assured. Magnetize what you want. You can magnetize what you want in life. You must image it mentally, clearly and emotionally, feeling it is already yours. You must write it down, as we stated in another part of this book. You must visualize the persons, conditions, money, success, whatever it is you want clearly and as often as possible. The process known as daydreaming is helpful in fixing the image clearly in your mind. Daydream yourself in the situations in life you desire, such as singing or speaking or acting on a stage. Do the entire performance as if you actually were before that audience. Picture yourself in the job you desire, seeing yourself as an executive, giving orders, having other employees under you. Visualize yourself going to the bank and depositing checks or cash, or drawing the money out and going into shops and spending it. Spend time in looking at pictures of cars for coats or houses and furnishings, in magazines and newspapers, and visualizing them as being in your possession. Cut these pictures out and paste them in a scrapbook of destiny, and look at these pictures every day, imagining them as being already yours. Go window shopping and stand before windows, fixing the mental images in your mind of jewelry, clothes, television sets, radios, hi-fi sets, whatever you desire, and then pass these mental images through your mind over and over, especially as you go to sleep at night. Let these mental images be the last thing you pass through your mind. A girl coming to our lectures did this act with a fur coat, specifically a mink coat. She was a maid in a home and had no way to buy such a mink coat. She kept picturing it, and her mental imagery was so great that she magnetized a mink coat in 1 month's time. A rich woman in our lecture group bought herself a new mink coat. She had observed this other woman in her shabby cloth coat, and without knowing a thing about her mental imagery, brought her old mink coat to class one night, wrapped up in a box, and gave it to the poorer woman. This amazing demonstration was brought to my attention. What magnetic power had caused this woman to actually attract a $3,000 mink that was in wonderful condition? It was the $1 million secret which we are discussing in this book. It works. It can work its magic for you if you use these principles and have faith in them. How magnetism built big fortunes. If you wish to magnetize more money, you can do so through this method. Let it become a dominating desire in your mind. Remember, however, not to let your desire for money unbalance you, as in the case of misers. The Bible does not say to hate money or that it is evil to have money. It only says, the love of money is the root of all evil. But in the Bible it also says in Genesis 1:31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. What is good cannot be evil. It is good for you to have money, the things you need. You can do good things with money. The desire to have a fortune will help magnetize money for you, but you must use money constructively, for the good of others. I once knew a woman who magnetized a fortune of $8 million, but when her husband died and she inherited it, she began to drink and gamble and spend her money foolishly. Soon she lost her fortune. Her $2 million home was sold for 10 cents on the dollar, and she finally became so depressed that she committed suicide. She had used her money for evil, and it destroyed her. The great fortunes built by such men as Rockefeller, Carnegie, Vanderbilt, and Astor were not used for selfish purposes alone. They have given to the world great benefits. Carnegie magnetized hundreds of millions of dollars in his lifetime. He endowed 1,200 libraries in his lifetime, and spent most of his fortune before he died, doing good for the world. He said that in the future it would be considered sinful for a rich man to die rich. The Rockefeller millions are still benefiting the world, long after the death of the senior Rockefeller, who magnetized one of the greatest fortunes in the world. The Rockefeller Foundation was established, where scientific and medical research is going on continuously that may one day save your life or that of a loved one. Henry Ford magnetized millions by his desire to give the world reasonable transportation. This unselfish dream was so magnetic that it attracted the fortune he built. Mental energy and matter interchangeable. Einstein proved that mental energy and matter are interchangeable. In other words, the energy of the mind can be converted into material substance with ease. For instance, the idea to build a bridge is only mental energy, but it can become externalized easily in the building of the actual bridge. The idea for a painting, a literary work, an invention, or a business is just as real and has a dimension that is as solid and real as matter. The idea for a thing has inherent in it the ability to magnetize the thing itself and bring it into being. This is the way that your mental energy has in itself the equivalent for the thing you are holding in your mind. Be sure then that you magnetize only the good and positive things. If you use this law of magnetic attraction to picture accidents, sickness, failure, and disaster, it will externalize these negative things for you. The law works to produce thistles or wheat under the law of the harvest. The Bible speaks of it as ye sow, so shall ye reap. This is the great law of magnetic attraction at work in nature. Sow an acorn and produce an oak tree. Sow wheat, and you have a crop of wheat. Sow thistles, and only thistles can come forth from the same ground that produced the wheat or oak tree. This is why some people, with the same brain cells, the same bodies, are able to produce only unhappiness, sickness, poverty, and failure, from the same life substance that others use to magnetize and produce health, happiness, fame, fortune, and prosperity. Take these 6 steps for greater magnetic power. 1. Picture clearly the things that you want to magnetize and attract. Sit quietly in your room and run these pictures through your mind like film through a movie projector. Review these pictures daily, as often as possible, especially at night just before going to sleep. See them clearly. Do not keep changing them, but have the pictures the same each time. Have as many things as you want to magnetize, taking them up one at a time, and giving about 10 minutes to picturing each thought. 2. Write down the things you wish to magnetize and attract. Write them clearly and briefly, as you have learned in another part of this book. This serves to imprint them upon your subconscious mind more forcibly. 3. Indulge in daydreaming when possible to do so. The moments you spend waiting for a car or bus, the time you take out for coffee or a cigarette at your work, use these precious moments to daydream. In these daydreams, see yourself in the work you want to do, living in your dream house, married to the mate who fits your needs, having money to do the things you wish, ideas and inventions that could make you a fortune. 4. Do not tell anyone of the secret power you are using. They will tend to laugh at you, to discourage you, and they may short-circuit your magnetic attraction with their negative ideas. Many a genius has never won recognition because he shared his dreams and secrets with friends or members of his family. The acorn grows in the secret hidden womb of earth, safe from all interference, and becomes an oak tree because of this secrecy. What if someone tore it up by the roots every few days to see if it was growing? It would die. So too, your dreams die if they are shattered by others. 5. Have faith in the invisible intelligence that resides in nature to produce the things you are trying to magnetize. The secret power that can make a baby in 9 months' time knows how to release the energy to bring your idea or dream to fruition. But you must have faith in this invisible power that creates all life. The chicken and the egg is evidence of this great miracle-working intelligence. From that invisible cell, it produces the feathers, beak, heart, lungs, and eyes of that chick. You can trust such an intelligence with your life. 6. Share your good with the world. There is magnetism in giving to others. The soil gives of its substance to the plant and enriches the world. The sun gives of its warmth, and the world lives in its golden glow. All great givers have been able to attract more of this world's goods than the misers. For misers magnetize money, but lose their lives by not sharing it with others. A shabby old woman was found dying on the streets of New York in midwinter. When a search was made of her shabby apartment, a trunk was found that had $500,000 in cash hidden in it. And yet, she died of starvation. The Bible states this law of magnetism through giving. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure pressed down and running over shall be given into your bosom. For with what measure you meet withal, it shall be measured unto you again.